So the Shevis HaLevi gave a fascinating answer. He says, no, the rabbi can continue making the bracha publicly. He argues based on the following. We have machlokas harishonim about what's the nature, what's the mitzvah of Sfiras HaOmer. Is it one long mitzvah that's 49 days long? So if there's an interruption, you lost the opportunity to do that mitzvah. Or is it 49 individual mitzvot? 49 days, each day requires its own counting. Each day requires its own counting with a bracha. So there's a strong shita out there that it's its own mitzvah, this one long mitzvah. And then there's another that each one has its own individual mitzvah component. So by us, if we miss, we just take on a stringency. We say maybe it really is one long mitzvah, so we stop counting. So, but you know, that's if we miss the whole 24-hour period. We didn't even say the day in that whole time, so we stop. But there's also a strong opinion that each day is a new opportunity to do a mitzvah. So if you miss, count with a bracha. So the rabbi should rely on that and count with a bracha publicly for everyone. Make the bracha and show that way. But what pushes him to do that? So the Shevis HaLevi says that the rabbi, should he forget, what's going to happen? The whole congregation is going to be huge embarrassment. It's a huge embarrassment to the Rav. But it goes even beyond the Rav. I mean, listen, everyone's going to go, ha ha ha, look at the rabbi, he forgot. I mean, nobody really cares. They're not looking and investigating why the rabbi forgot. Maybe he had a levaya and a bris and a wedding and all sorts of other things on the same day. And that's why he ended up forgetting. But regardless, it could get the community talking and it would be a big embarrassment. But not just for that man. This bizayon would be an embarrassment for Torah. In the minds of many community members, the Rav and the Torah are intricately connected. And if they're so closely connected, then a disgrace in one is going to be a disgrace in the other. And so the Shevis HaLevi cautioned and went to such lengths in order to preserve the sanctity of Torah, the pride in Torah. And so he wanted the Rav to rely on the fact that we do have an opinion. It's every single day is its own mitzvah, so count with a bracha, and nobody has to know. Nobody has to know that you missed a day. So that's how the Rav should paskin that his counting should be considered like a different mitzvah every night. And like this new mitzvah, it's shelafi atzmoi, it's right before him. So he should continue counting with a bracha. The Chazam Sofer paskins this way, by the way. And just as a side note, if the Chazan, it is brought down that if a Chazan is the one who does the public counting, it's not the Rav. The Chazan is the one who does this public counting. So if he does it, and he happens to forget, so this rule doesn't apply to him. Because for some reason, a Chazan, he's not so tied to the Torah. It's not a bizayon to the Torah if the Chazan is not able to make the bracha publicly anymore, as he was used to. But in most congregations, we have the Rav doing it, and this is how the Shevis HaLevi paskins in terms of giving that, preserving that kavod of Torah. The Rav and the Torah, they're intricately connected in the minds and the hearts of the congregants. So, Minhag Yisrael has been that the Rav counts Sfiras HaOmer and the Shul publicly, so that's why the question itself deals with that and not necessarily a Chazan, but now you know the answer for the Chazan too. So Rav Wosner actually says, like, you know, why don't you have somebody that like stands right next to the Rav and he says, you know, be motzi me, Rabbi, you know, or maybe the Rabbi should be yotzi on someone else's bracha. So again, that wouldn't work because of what it says in the Psukim. It says usfartem lachem, that each person has to do their own counting. You can't rely on someone else's counting. Okay, fine. So the Minchas Asher, though, he weighs in. So, and he's like, what are you talking about? What's this kavod of Torah? You want to know what real kavod of Torah is? The kavod of Torah is when a rabbi can come forward and admit his mistake. He can say, I'm as human as you are. Look, the halacha applies to me the same as it applies to you. This isn't a Torah that's for super geniuses or some great holy men. It's for each one. And by doing so, he would preserve the humanity of the Torah. It would be so precious. This Torah was meant to be handled by men. And so, listen, is this a big mistake that you missed a bracha? Sure, you could say it's a big mistake, but it would be an even bigger mistake that many people in the community, you know, they would think that this is a lesson in humanity. We all can make mistakes, and the Rav has a big opportunity here to step up. So the Minchas Asher, Rav Weiss, he said that, this is his opportunity. His opportunity to really show. So he shouldn't be making the bracha publicly anymore, and that's how he ruled down. So just because you have lost the opportunity, I want to remind you to say the counting with the bracha doesn't mean you stop counting. Rav Soloveitchik was very perplexed by this, that people, once they stop, they missed a day, they actually stop counting entirely. It's just that you can't count with a bracha anymore, because we're worried about that one opinion that it's one long mitzvah of 49 days. But you still should do the counting every single day. But Rav Soloveitchik brought out a beautiful point. He says, you see the koach habracha. You see that when a mitzvah is tied to a bracha, people take it so seriously. Because, as soon as people can't be making the bracha anymore, they seem to stop the count. So that's quite a thing. So he didn't understand why people mamish, they stop counting. It's just shanda. But Minchas Asher, he disagrees with Rav Vosner. And he says real kavod Torah is when the rabbi can admit his mistakes. And he could say, I got caught, I was so busy with all these functions all day, or whatever it was, and he came back home, it's too late to count, he couldn't do the count anymore. That's real kavod Torah, to be able to admit your mistakes and show that there's a humanity, the human component of the Torah. So this should teach us an interesting perspective on how a tzibor could really view kavod Torah or not, right? Rav Vosner, he plays it safe, okay? And he gives that safe approach for the rabbi. He can continue by relying on the fact that this is 49 separate mitzvot. But it's interesting that Rav Weiss thinks the other way around.